So I'm sitting here working on a graduation project, and I just, wanted a background. And I came across this technique from River City Graphics, a few months ago. And I just want to kind of, show my spin on it and teach you guys how to create a really cool background effect, that just kind of looks like a halftone smear. That's what I'm calling this. So anyway, we're just going to start a new project. So we'll just do new, and I want this to be 12 inches wide, so I'm going to do 3600, and I want it to be 17 inches tall because, might be working at that size, and I'm just going to create a document. The resolution, all that does is tell the document file what size it's supposed to be printed at. The pixel dimensions are what matters, and I didn't know that for many years, but it's all about the pixel dimensions, and that's what I'm worried about here. All right, so just creating a new canvas here. I'm in Photoshop, and I need a brush that's nice and big. I'm choosing 100% hardness and 750 pixels in size, and using the slider is not a great idea because it goes all over the place. But just type in 750. If you're using the same image dimensions, or get yourself the size that you're looking for. All right, so now I'm just going to use, we'll use a mid-gray, because I like to do that when I'm making a mask. And so we're just going to smear, I'm just going to smear on a shape. Oh, don't like that one. Control Z. Don't mind that one. Not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more variation. I'm just using a mouse here, so... All right, that's my smear. So there we go. And, I like this smear because it kind of draws the viewer in to the bottom right. So it moves them through the document. That's what we want in a good image. Excuse me. So now I'm going to grab my gradient tool. I'll make a new layer. I just hit Control-Shift-N to make a layer on top. And I have got it set to a bar, or reflected gradient is what Photoshop calls it. And so I'm just going to take from the center of this and drag past the edge here. So we're just going to drag to right about there. I also want to kind of go in the direction of the smear. So we'll just drag past that. So we just get this nice reflection going on here. And we're just going to do Filter, Pixelate, Color Halftone. And I'm going to set my max radius really high. This will depend on the size of the image that you're working with. 45 is what I experimented with, and it worked great for me. And all my channels set to 0. I just want to do black and white here. I'm just doing black. So, all right, so let's just run that. And then we're just going to Control-click this layer. And I'm going to copy. I Control-click to select my little smear. And I'm going to copy and then do Control-Shift-N to do a new layer. And then I'm going to paste in place. Oh, that is Control-Shift-V in Photoshop. And I'm just going to turn off these other layers. So now I've got pretty much the effect I want, except I don't want this white, and I want this to be, in my case, an editable shape that I can change the color of easily in the Layout Designer at 143. So I'm going to get rid of that white background. And the absolute best way that I can think of to do this is in Inkscape. So I'm just going to do File, Export, Quick Export as Ping. I'm just going to call this Smear 2. All right. And then I'm going to pull open Inkscape, which will start me a new project. And I'm just going to go to my project folder. Let's see, Grad Pack. And there's my smear. I'll bring that in, and I'm just going to choose Embed because I'm going to get rid of it later. And it's made it way too big, but that's not a problem. We'll just zoom out. And then with it selected in Inkscape, I'm going to do Path, Trace Bitmap. And so I've got a single scan here. We're using brightness cutoff, set to 0.450. I don't know if these are the default settings, but the ones I keep going. Speckles 2, 1.0, optimize 0.2. You can hit update if you want to see a preview of what you're going to get. I'm just going to hit OK. So now I have a shape created that's transparent. I just deleted the shape's always on top, so I just drag it off and then delete the JPEG. And then I click into my node editor so I can see if I got nodes. And there's a ton of them. I mean, it's really messy. I don't know how well this would cut in a plotter, but you know, it's definitely going to work for my purposes, which I'm just working with images here. So now I'm going to size up my document. So I just want to go to File, Document Properties. And the first thing I do is I always just convert to pixels because I don't work in millimeters. And I'm just going to set the width to 500 and the height to like 650 for now. We'll come back to this. And then I'm going to select my object and I'm going to put it in the corner of the document. So I'm going to say 0, 0. And then I want to make sure to have my aspect ratio locked. And I'll just set my width on this to 500. And that's automatically set my... And because I'm a little OCD, I've got to actually set this. Looks like 650 was pretty close. So now we're just going to select that. And we're going to go back to Document Properties. And I'm going to tell it to resize page to drawing or selection. But then I'm going to fine tune it and say 500, 675. So that's exactly right. And now I'm just going to save as. And I'm going to save this in my project folder. And I'm going to call it Smear 2. And then I'm going to pull that back open in Photoshop. I'm holding Shift and Alt as I drag out. I don't have to place it exactly. You know, I'm not doing my composition right now. But what that's done is it's created a smart object. It's infinitely scalable. There's no, as you can see, the checkered background coming through the dots now. Whereas what we had before, we had that white from the gradient being drawn and the filter, you know, render. So yeah, now I have just like a perfectly transparent, and that's going to help a lot. You know, I mean, besides having that white there, if I'm putting this on a shirt, I'm going to get a lot more breathability by having all these holes in the design. All right, that's it. I just wanted to show you this technique. I thought it was pretty cool. Have a great day.